Good evening, Miss.
Good evening, Kiara. Welcome to the class. So, you did quite well with the grammar. I'm not sure if it's a coincidence or did you really understand the grammar part? Which one is it?
Wait, Miss.
Did you really understand it or a coincidence? Kiara?
The grammar part, Miss.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, the one with the would have and blah blah blah.
Yep. Have you understood the grammar part or do you still need
Half
more?
understood. I'm half understood, half not.
Okay, so you do like reading about history, right?
Oh yes, Miss.
What's your current history? What's the current history that I mean, what's the current thing that you are reading at the moment?
About World War II, World War One.
Okay, World War II then. Uh, what happened? Please tell me. What started the war?
Well, actually, the one started the war is Hitler from the Nazi Germany because of the Treaty of Versailles that was made after the World War One that wouldn't allow Germany to make certain types of weapons and blah blah blah. And I think Hitler is kind of
Wait,
like
Hitler,
German.
Hitler was. He's
Oh,
dead.
it, oh yeah, Hitler was a bit upset because Germany wants some revenge, something like that, Miss. And then Hitler started the World War II. Before that, he makes alliance with Italy and Japan and maybe other countries.
Now, the question is, what would have happened if we are using that type 3 conditional? What would have happened if Hitler didn't start, Hitler hadn't started World War II?
Well, the Treaty of Versailles will keep on going, and Japan won't attack Indonesia. And then
Wait, wait,
Indonesia,
wait. You cannot use Japan won't attack Indonesia. That's in the future. Japan will not attack. We are talking about the past and something that didn't happen in the past. So you need to use type 3 conditional. That's the reason.
so I use will not.
Not will
Oh,
not, would have not, or
would have not, wouldn't have. Uh, yeah. Well, the Treaty of Versailles would keep going, and then
wait,
Japan
not would keep. See, would have verb 3.
would have going.
Verb 3.
Verb
Verb 3 of
kept me.
kept. Got it. Would have kept going. There you go.
Would have kept going, and then Japan wouldn't have to attack
Verb 3.
Indonesia. Wouldn't have
Attacked. Okay. Indonesia.
attacked Indonesia
Mhm.
and other Southeast Asia's country.
Okay. Why do you think Japan had to attack Indonesia and Southeast Asian countries?
Because Japan needs oil.
Wait. Not needs. Past tense.
Ah, because Japan needed would have needed or
Mm-mm. We're not
needed.
talking
w-
about the if, we're talking about the real truth, the past tense.
Uh, so it's needed
Mm-mm.
because Japan needed um oil and fuel to uh, oil and fuel is the same like this.
But why would they need oil and fuel when they actually told Indonesians to plant things? Like we are, I don't know. I don't think they actually open uh mines, or not mines. They open like oil rigs in Indonesia. So what made you think it was because of
Well, actually, well, because Japan's reasons to invade the Southeast Asian countries is to uh it's to it's because they needed oil to fight for the to fight not fight for the to fight the USA
mm,
because they are running out of supplies, so they go to Southeast Asia and invade the countries there.
or two?
Ah, yeah.
See, this is why we need to practice the grammar, because when you tell a story or when you talk, you need to switch between grammar fluently. That's why we need to practice. Or two,
Okay. Uh, birth.
or two of invade.
Mm, invaded.
Mhm.
Japan invaded the Southeast Asia countries.
Are you sure it wasn't because of the food supply?
Uh, they need everything: oil, food, and
Or
many
two,
more.
or two,
Uh, they needed more supplies like food, oils, and many more.
and also people?
Yep.
Mm, because
I
they,
don't like when
yeah,
I don't like when yeah.
because they also took um armies from the
Yes.
locals, right?
To fight.
To fight their war.
Mm, yeah, and about what Japan do to the people, especially to women.
Or to
Yeah.
what, Japan?
Well, what Japan did to the peoples in World War II, like especially the women,
But they didn't only invade Southeast Asian countries, you know.
they invade East Asian countries, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
like China
China and
and
Korea
Korea.
as well. They invaded.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Invaded,
two, yeah, or two.
invaded.
They invade. Okay, now let's talk about an if situation uh, of Japan's invasion to Indonesia. What if they hadn't invaded us?
Then the Dutch would would have kept would have kept it wait miss
See, this is
would
when
have kept
grammar and ideas mixed in your head, and you go like, "Ah, why is it so hard to speak?"
yeah, like that.
That's why we
The
need to
Dutch
practice. The more you practice, it comes easily for you.
Okay.
Switch between grammar.
Okay. Well, the Dutch would have kept invading Indonesia.
Are
Eh?
you sure? By that time, like we already made our resistance fight against the Dutch.
Yeah, miss, but the Dutch will be very, very stubborn.
Hmm.
And
Wait,
unlike the
not would
Japanese,
be, not would be.
oh,
The Dutch
would would have been
hmm,
would have been stubborn, and they will not promise us.
wait.
They
Not
would
they will not.
they, they wouldn't have they wouldn't have promised us our independence,
Hmm.
unlike what the Japanese did.
But do you believe me when I say that the Japanese didn't have this Indonesian invasion lesson in their school?
I believe you, miss. The
Like,
Japanese people
hmm,
didn't know about the history about the Japanese invasion.
yeah, most of them were shocked when they were told that their ancestors did those things in Indonesia, and then, well, they knew about the China and Korea part, but they didn't know about the Southeast Asian countries part. So, well, like they ignored the fact that we also existed. Oh man, it hurt.
Maybe they want to keep it secret, I think.
But they did talk about the Korean War and then Chinese War.
Well, maybe they didn't want to talk about something more, more things that they ah they
Was as
something they've
if
done.
we weren't that important enough to be in their history, like China and Korea are big countries for them. So,
Mm-hmm.
but Indonesia is a second rate country, like third class country.
Yep.
So they didn't bother to teach the young generations about what happened then to us.
Well, I think maybe it's kind of normal that people didn't know about the Southeast Asia country that much. They only know about. Do you know Asian countries? Yes, China, Korea, South Korea, North Korea, and
They,
Japan.
they do know Singapore, and I hate.
Yes, because Singapore is the rich Asian country.
Yeah, but still, like, hello, we have the fourth most populous. We are the fourth most populous country in the world, and yet,
And we have Bali.
hmm, oh, Bali is not in Indonesia. Bali is in Bali.
Yeah, I really hate when people say that. Like, did you miss your geography lesson?
Bang Jo. The, have you watched Bang Jo's YouTube shorts?
Bang YouTube
No,
Shorts.
yeah. Do you know Bang Jo?
Mm, uh,
No. Okay.
no miss, no
Let
miss.
me show it to you then. YouTube. Tap Bang Jo. Okay, there you go. Bang Jo official. And his latest short was actually about that.
Oh, I see, miss.
This one.
I've watched it. I've watched it once, a few times.
Uh,
Um, yeah, he mostly talked about Indonesia, about the enter win.
yeah.
Ketika orang Amerika ingin belajar geografi Indonesia.
Hey man, I'm trying to learn more Indonesian geography, but a lot of the places are really hard to say. Can you teach me? Sure. Why don't we start with Pontianak, Boni Canuck. Not quite. How about Banjarmasin? Banjo machine. No. Raja Ampat. Roger's armpit? Ugh. Why don't we try Pekolangan? Peek at a long one. That doesn't even have the same amount of syllables. How about Banyuwangi? Bang your mommy. Watch it. All right, I'll give you an easy one. Bali. I said places in Indonesia.
Ketika orang Amerika ingin belajar geografi Indonesia.
Hey man.
So there you go.
It's kind of annoying, miss.
Yeah, Bali
If
is
someone
not in
said that
Indonesia.
Bali is not in Indonesia.
Okay. Hi, Aurel. Welcome to the class.
Hello, Miss.
Okay. So we were talking about wars before. We are talking about Bali. Anyway, Yara loves history and she was talking about World War II. Kiara, please tell me your theory about what would happen if Japan hadn't invaded us. What would have happened? Oh man, that was difficult. What would have happened if Japan hadn't invaded us?
Well, the Dutch would have kept invading us, and they wouldn't have promised us our independence.
Independence.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. That's why Aurel will learn about conditional type tree. So we can actually make theories of what would happen if something happened in the past or something didn't happen in the past. Okay. So Aurel and Kiara, do you know about the recent war between Russia and Ukraine?
I think I know a little bit, miss.
A little bit about that. Aurel, how about you? Are you familiar with Russia and Ukraine war?
I think no.
No, okay. So I need you to open or Google some facts about Russia and Ukraine war now. And then please tell me one thing that wouldn't have happened if the war hadn't happened. So if I got it right, the oil price wouldn't have soared if Russia didn't, if Russia hadn't tried to invade Ukraine. See, as I've told Kiara Aurel, it takes time to practice this because sometimes we forget, oh, we are using conditional type tree and the formula is this, is this, is this. And to make it easier for us to remember, we need to keep practicing. See, even I made a mistake. I said we didn't, and it's actually we hadn't. So the oil price wouldn't have soared if Russia hadn't invaded Ukraine. I believe so. But yeah, probably. It's my if. How about your ifs? There are so many changes we have because of that certain war. They even said that there would be a World War III because of that war. But luckily, The world is wiser these days. They don't interfere with someone else's war. Okay, we'll start from Kiara, who is a bit familiar with the war. What have you got, Kiara?
Um, yeah. Um, Wait, miss, I'm still trying to arrange the words first.
Sure, sure.
Okay. If the Ukraine wouldn't have want to join it, wouldn't have want to join not NATO, then Russia wouldn't have wouldn't have attacked Ukraine.
One more time, please. There's a mistake in your first part.
Yeah. If Ukraine didn't mm, if the Ukraine wait
It's so difficult to imagine the words. If Ukraine
hadn't want to
almost
join NATO,
hadn't
oh
or three
hadn't
hadn't
wanted it,
hadn't wanted.
hadn't wanted to join NATO, that the Russia wouldn't have attacked Ukraine.
Got it. There you go. If Ukraine hadn't wanted to join NATO, Russia wouldn't have attacked Ukraine. There. I know it's difficult. I mean, like, Mr. Wood, but the more you practice it, the easier for you to remember. Trust me. I was having a hell in my school days because I didn't practice it enough, and conditionals always appear in tests. Always. So I had a hell of a time. Aurel, how about you?
Miss, I have to make sentence that about Ukraine,
Ukraine and Russia war. Because
but I don't follow the
well, that's why I give you time to read about it a little on Google or on the net.
Ukraine with what?
Ukraine-Russia war.
Ukraine-Russia war.
Hmm. Our topic in Unit 3 is about war. So, lucky Kiara, she likes history and wars and so on. So, she will probably go about this unit smoothly, except for grammar, which you still need to practice more. But other than that, like the vocabulary, you are familiar with them, Kiara? I believe so.
Yes, miss.
Hmm. Okay, well, we're waiting for Aurel to gather her information. I need you to read me the vocabulary, Kiara. Can you see the green box here?
Yes, miss.
Please read all of them.
Catastrophic, civil war, defensive, devastating, irreversible, landmine, last, refugee, revenge, and trivial.
Well done, excellent. I had no complaint about the pronunciation, so that's why I didn't review about this on WhatsApp session. Okay, one more. I didn't put this flip material. I didn't put this in the flip material, but we're also talking about the D sound and the J sound. Okay, Kira, how do you read these two words?
Let and lech.
Exactly. Okay. One more. How about these two? Sorry.
Perth and perch.
Thank you. There you go. Now, Aurel, have you got your information? Oh, your sentence actually. Information, yes, you have. Oh, by the way, Kiera, I have to tell you one thing. I think you are now in the 9th grade, right?
Yes, miss.
Mm-mm. I think you were good in the Gale level, but then you went a bit behind the classmates because you were the younger one, the youngest one, when you were in the 7th grade in the ET class. So you were a bit behind everyone. Like in that class, there were Asha and then Nisa and then so on. You were a bit behind them. But then when you were in the 8th grade, you went up so fast. Now you are very, very good, Kiara. I hope you keep that.
Thank you, miss.
Your English is more mature, much, much more mature than when you were in the 7th grade. Aurel?
Thank you.
We only have 9 more minutes, Aurel. Oh, I think we have more because I was alone for about 5 minutes. Aurel, have you got anything yet? Aurel? Jing Jing.
Um, if Ukraine had not decided to join NATO, yeah,
Wait, that's the same sentence as Kiara's.
uh,
Yeah, Kiara also said if Ukraine hadn't decided to join NATO, Russia wouldn't have attacked Ukraine.
and the only reason why Ukraine attacked Russia is that
Oh, there are other there are other things actually. Okay, did why did I use capital letters? Why did Russia invade Ukraine? There you go. Let's check. There. You can also use this. So Putin said that Ukraine needed to be demilitarized and denazified. Yeah, I don't know what denazified he was talking about when Russia is more nazified than Ukraine. You can say it like this. If this didn't happen, if this blah, 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 not didn't, if this hadn't happened, then this wouldn't have happened.
If demilitarized and
Wait, you need
denazed,
the subject first. If subject, if Ukraine,
if Ukraine don't demilitarize,
no,
I
don't.
don't know how
We don't use
didn't
don't in uh type 3. Hadn't.
hadn't.
Hmm.
Is how we spell demilitarized.
From the beginning. If Ukraine
If Ukraine hadn't demilitarized and denazified
subject,
Russia,
Russia,
yes, Russia wouldn't have begun the war.
oh, wait. Is it begin or begun?
Began.
Begun. Verb 3. Got it. Russia wouldn't have begun the war. There you go. So remember, it's had verb 3 and then would have verb 3 again. Kiera and Aurel, let's try and read. I know you've heard the conversation in your flip materials, but let's read this part again. So Kiera and Aurel, who would you like to be? TV host or Robbie?
Going to be TV house.
TV host. I knew Aurel is going to choose TV host. Why? Because there were so many more words like M16A1 assault rifle and stuff. Okay, Kiara, Aurel, are you ready?
Yes, miss.
Okay, go on then. Aurel. Hi,
Hi
guys.
guys, welcome to our show. My name is Chalita. Our top guest is a peace activist who continuously promotes world peace in many forums in and out of this country. Let's welcome Robbie.
Thanks.
Thanks.
For thousands of years, human beings have been involved in wars. After a war, one party celebrates their victory, the other goes down on their knees to mourn. Considering this fact, I wonder why people still go to war.
There are many reasons why a nation or a group of people get involved in a war. One of the reasons is politics. The most notorious example is the Vietnam War.
Okay, please tell us about it.
The war was between the US and North Vietnam in South Vietnam. The causes of the Vietnam War were based on the symptoms, components, and consequences of the Cold War. If the US hadn't believed that communism was a big threat all over Southeast Asia, the Vietnam War wouldn't have happened.
Okay, I understand. Undoubtedly, wars must bring about devastating effect or impacts on everything.
Without a single doubt, they are devastating. The Vietnam War lasted for 20 years and took away more than 2 million lives. If the US Air Force hadn't dropped 8 million tons of bombs in South Vietnam, The basic local infrastructure there would have been totally destroyed. Moreover, 20 million gallons of herbicides were used to destroy the dense jungle foliage and crops.
That's horrible. What was the most catastrophic weapon used in the war?
Agent Orange, one of their herbicides, was the deadliest weapon used, but there was also the M16A1 assault rifle. The rifle is both semi-automatic and automatic that can fire with an effective range of 300 meters.
Both sounds terrible. I have to say that everything about war, weapons, impact, and so on is really scary. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us, Robbie.
It's my pleasure. I agree that wars are scary. That's why we keep fighting for their prevention.
Thank you, Aurel and Kiara. Well done. Smooth. I like it. Most of the things here, we don't need to review. Just 2 words. Well, 3, if you consider this another word. Anyway, how do you say this word?
Undoubtedly,
This is the thing about this word. We don't read the B. So the B is actually silent. And this is how we say it. Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. Okay. Let's check. Kiara, undoubtedly. Kiara,
undoubtedly,
undoubtedly. Okay. Aura, undoubtedly.
Undoubtedly.
Got it. The same thing with this, you don't read the B. So it's doubt. It's not doubt, doubt. It's the N is T, so you pronounce the T, but not the B. Doubt. Check, check, Aura.
Doubt.
Okay. Kiara?
doubt.
Doubt. Okay. If you don't believe me, sometimes I'm not trusted. So let's go to Google. Okay, you can see the pronunciation.
Doubt.
Learn to pronounce. There you go. You don't see the B in the pronunciation. Okay, both British and American, they don't have the B there. So it's just T at the end. And the last word that we need to review. How about this one?
Weapon,
Weapon. So it's not we, but weapon. Aura, your turn. Weapon.
Weapon.
Weapon. Got it. Okay. Oh my God, we only have 1 minute. Okay, as you can see from the Google Classroom, your assignment, your after Zoom activity is to talk about war. Now, unfortunately, the war that we have there is the Vietnam War, but you are free to talk about the war of your choice. So it can be World War I, World War II, but definitely not Vietnam War because we already talked about Vietnam War. Other wars in the world, up to you. Even, for example, like Bandung Lautan Api, it's okay. You can talk about the war. Or you can use the option in your book, The Battle of Gubat. It's the information is provided on page 40. Use at least 3 words from the vocabulary. The vocabulary is talking about war vocabulary. And you need to use the grammar you learned, which is if conditional.